Hey everybody, welcome back for another video, and today we are going to be ordering numbers. Now, that does not mean that we are going to go to a restaurant and order numbers off the menu. We're not going to order them alongside a large fry and a fountain drink. No, we are going to put numbers in order, which means we are going to order them from smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest. We're going to put them in a certain order. Okay, so that's what we mean by ordering numbers. And we're going to see two words over and over and over again. We're going to see the word least. We're going to see the word greatest. Okay? Least meaning the smallest number. Okay, so if we want, and of course, greatest meaning biggest number. Okay, so least, smallest, greatest, biggest. Okay, so if they add an order of certain numbers from least to greatest, okay, that means they want them from smallest to biggest. Now, how do you figure that out? Well, that's why you're here. Okay? Let's figure that out together. What I would like you to do for these kind of problems, and you can do these any way that you want to, okay? But just like the other videos that I make, this is the way that I think is easiest. This is the way for me that it becomes easiest to think about these. You can do these any way that you would like. But for me, having a process to go through, having certain steps to follow, that makes it easier for me. Because my brain works better in steps, and most people's brains do work best in steps. Okay? If you have a process that you can follow, if you can do one step and then follow that up, do this. Okay, once you're done with that, do this. Okay, let's move on to this last step. Okay? That's going to become a lot easier for you over time. Think about sports. When you practice shooting a basketball, or throwing a football, or throwing a baseball or a softball, what do you do over and over and over again to get that right? You do the same thing. Practice, practice, practice. You throw that ball the same way. You shoot that ball the same way. Same thing with your brain, okay? Your muscles build up that memory from doing the same thing over and over and over again, using that process, doing that step by step by step thing over and over and over again. Your brain does the same thing. If your brain starts to do a process over and over and over again, step by step by step, when you see a problem that you have practiced using that process, your brain's going to click and you're going to think, oh, that's how what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this and then this and then this and then this. Or however many steps you happen to have in that process. But that's what we're going to work on today, is a process for figuring out how to order numbers. It's going to get easier over time. But if you're just starting ordering numbers, this is a great way to start things off. So, step one, what you do is count your digits. Okay? Not your fingers. You could use your fingers, but in this case, we are going to count the number of digits, the number of individual numbers in each whole number we're using. Okay? And down here, for example, we have 452, 535, 67, 323, and 538. Okay? So we're going to get to that in just a moment, but those are the numbers we're going to work with. So right off the bat, we can see, okay, we got 1, 2, 3 digits, 1, 2, 3 digits, 1, 2 digits. So we got a different one, 3 and 3. So those are the digits in each one. That's what I want you to start with. Count the number of digits. Step two, we're going to group the numbers by digits, by the number of digits that each one has. And again, we'll get to that in just a moment. Step three, I want you to line up the numbers in each group. And then step four, I want you to start with the leftmost digit in each one of those numbers and work right. And we're just going to compare. That's going to be very, very similar to the last video that we did on comparing numbers. But in this case, we're working with more than 2. So you will see kind of what we're doing as we are practicing that right here. So the first thing I want you to do, step one, count your digits. So if we start by counting, we had 1, 2, 3. The 4, the 5, and the 2, they are all digits. That's 3. 535. Again, that's got a 5, a 3, and a 5. That's got 3 digits. 67 has a 6 and a 7. That's only 2. 323 has 3 digits. 538 has 1, 2, 3 as well. So 4 of our 5 numbers have 3 digits. 452, 535, 323, and 538. And only one has 2, 67. Okay? So we have counted our digits. Step one, check. Step two, I want you to group the numbers by their number of digits. So let's do that. Let's go our groups of 2 and our groups of 3. 2-digit numbers is just 67. That's all we got. Just 67. And our 3-digit numbers, we have 452, 535, 323, and 538. Okay? That's just what we're starting off with. And I'll put a comma in there. We got 4 individual numbers that have 3, only one that has 2. All right, so here we go. And I'm going to put a box around those, make it a little cleaner. Again, you can organize this however you want. Okay, the way that I'm writing this down is just how I like to kind of visualize things, organize things. You can organize these however you like. It's completely up to you. But we have them in a group. So step 2 done. Now, step 3, we need to line up the numbers in each group. Okay, and I'm going to line them up vertically. Okay? Now, 67, that one's done. We don't have to do anything with that one. That one's already lined up. 452, though, and the others, we can stack. 452, 535, 323, and 538. Yeah, those are our 3-digit numbers. Okay, so we've lined them up in each group, and now we need to start with the leftmost digit and work right. If you watch the comparing numbers, you kind of see that we did the same thing with those, except this time instead of comparing 2 numbers, we're comparing 4, and that's going to be a little bit more work, but still very, very doable. Okay. So we're going to start with the left. Okay. So just the first digit in each one of these 3. So if we look at 4, 5, 3, and 5, we're going to compare those. Okay. So 4, 5, 3, 5. Is there one number that is lower than any of the others? Well, right off the bat, we have that 3 right here. Okay, 3 is less than any of those other numbers in that hundreds place. Okay, so our first number out of that group is going to be a 323. Okay, don't need to worry about that number anymore. Okay, forget about the 323 because we know out of that group that is the smallest because it has the smallest number in the hundreds place. The rest of the numbers or numbered digits in that number don't really matter anymore. Then we can compare the other 3. We have 4, a 5, and a 5 in the hundreds place. Well, out of those 3 remaining, this 4 right here is the smallest one. So we're going to put a 452 right over here. And then we don't need to worry about that anymore. Okay? Because that one we know is after 323. Next up, 5 and 5, well, those are the same. So just like in our comparing numbers video, not really much that we can do with that. We have to move to the next set of digits, which is in the tens place. Our hundreds are the same, so in the tens, we look at our 3 and our 3. Well, they're the same. That doesn't really help me much either. So let's move to the ones. We have a 5 and an 8. Well, which one of these 2 numbers is the smallest between the 5 and the 8? Well, that 5, which tells me that guy right there is the next one. So 535 is the next biggest, followed by 538. Perfect. So we have all of those in order. And then we still have our 67 that we don't want to forget about him. So we're going to put him out here because we know he is the smallest of the bunch. Only 2 digits compared to the 3 that are in all of the rest. He is the smallest number. So there we are, from least to greatest, all 5 of our numbers. Perfect. Now you might have more numbers than that to compare. You might have fewer than 5 numbers to compare. Down here, our next set that we're going to practice, we only have 3. Okay? Now they already did a little bit of the work for us here. Okay? They've got things lined up, and they are so nice that they gave us the same number of digits in each number. So really, we don't even have to worry about that. We've got 4 digits in each number. We can just skip step 1. They did that for us. But still, in your mind, think, okay, let's count the digits first. Well, we did that. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, blah, 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 blah. Okay, all the way down. Next group, you'll see the same thing. Okay. But number 1, we counted the digits. They all have 4, so that's good. Don't necessarily have to rewrite them out, but if you want to, you can. Step 2, group the numbers by digits. Well, they already all have 4, so there's not much we can do. If one of these only had 3, we could put 3 in a group. Okay, that number, whatever that was, and then we could put the other 2 in another group. Okay, but they've already taken care of that for us, so they're being pretty nice. Then we need to line up the numbers in each group. Well, they are lined up, so we've got that taken care of. We got that going for us. And now our step 4, we need to start with the leftmost digit and work right. Okay, so let's do that. Just looking at number 1 for now. We have a 3, and a 3 in the thousands place. Okay, well, they're all the same, so there's not really much we can do with that quite yet. So the 3's don't really make any difference. How about the 4, 5, and 4 in the hundreds place? Well, we have a 4, and we have a 4. Okay, so we still have 2 that are the same. We really can't decide which one is the smallest yet because they're both smaller than 5. So we're going to have to wait on that one. But we do know that this is going to be the 3rd number, okay, because that is the biggest one remaining. That one's got a 5 in the hundreds place. The other 2 only have a 4 in the hundreds place. So 5 groups of 100 compared to 4 groups of 100. Out of the 3 numbers, middle one's going to be our biggest one. Okay, so that's going to be our 3. But we can move to our 10s, and that will tell us a little bit of something about what order these need to go in. Okay, we have 5. And we have 4. Okay, remember the middle one we're done with. Don't need to worry about him yet. We'll write him down in just a little bit. But we have a 5 in the 10s. We have a 4 in the 10s. What is more? What number is least? What is greater? A 5 or a 4? Well, if 4 is smaller, it is the least between the 4 and the 5. 4 groups of 10, 5 groups of 10. So we know that is the smallest because the thousands are the same, the hundreds are the same, but this one's got fewer 10s than what this one has. And that's going to be our 2. And again, we are going from least to greatest, smallest to biggest. So our number 1 here, 3,446, big comma. Just to separate them out a little bit, I like to put a big comma, little comma in between, inside the number, bigger comma, just to separate the numbers. That one's good. 3,456, big comma, and 3,000, little comma, 565. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So that was least to greatest. Now, what if we switch things up? What if we go from greatest to least? Sounds scary, but it's really not that scary. It's the exact same process, except we're looking for the biggest number first. Okay, that's the only difference. We're going to write down the biggest number first and get smaller and smaller and smaller. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just take a look at number 4 here. Again, we start with a 6 in each spot. Okay, they're counted up. We each have 4 digits, 4 digits, 4 digits. That's fine. So step 1's done. Step 2, group the numbers by digits. Well, they all have 4, so they're already grouped together. Step 3, line them up in each group. That's done for us already, so that's wonderful. And then we move on to step number 4. We're going to start with the leftmost. We're going to work right. Okay? Except this time, we're going to be looking for which number is the biggest instead of the smallest as we're going. Okay, so each of them have a 6 in the thousands place. Great. Okay, that one's done. Don't need to worry about the 6s. Let's move on to the 100 spot. We have a 5, we have an 8, and we have a 5. Well, we have 2 5s in the hundreds, but you know what? This guy right here, he's bigger than both of those. That tells me that is the biggest number that we are going to have. That one's got 800s, that's got 500s, that's got 500s. So that 8 is the winner here. That is going to be our biggest number. Same thousands, but the most groups of hundreds. 8 right there. Okay. So that's where we're at so far. So we don't have to worry about that middle number anymore. Kind of like number 1. We don't have to worry about that middle number. Now we need to move on because our hundreds are the same in our last 2 numbers. And in fact, we can write, I'm going to save it. We're going to keep that process the same too. Let's take a look at the 10s. We got 8, we've got 9. 8 groups of 10, 9 groups of 10. Which one of those 2 numbers has more groups of 10? This one right here, because it has 9. This one only has 8. So that becomes our 2, and that becomes our number 3. And then we can write them out. So 6,879, big comma. Our second biggest was 6,599, big comma. And then we go to the smallest number, 6,589. And that is from greatest to least, right there, greatest to least. Okay. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to give you all of these problems right here. These are all great ones to practice. So I highly recommend, after you finish watching this video, pause right now if you'd like to. Finish up these last 4 problems. Try them for yourself. Okay? Try out that process. Okay? Again, rewind back to that process, step 1, 2, 3, and 4. The more you practice that, the easier it's going to get. And eventually, once you get comfortable enough doing these kind of problems, you might not even need to worry about that process. You might be able to do some of that mentally. You might just be able to, okay, mentally in your head, without even having to write them down, count your number of digits and group them. Okay? But I highly recommend, just like anything else, if you are just starting, write down everything you do. It's a great, great thing. It does take a little bit more time to write, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with writing things down. Okay? I don't care if you write things down. Use up a whole sheet of paper with your work. Show me your work. I want to see what you are doing. I want to see what's going on in your head. So write it all down to start with. As you continue to get better at it, you get more comfortable. If you don't need to write as much down, feel free to start cutting some stuff. But to start with, keep writing, keep showing your work. It's going to help your teacher. It's going to help your parents. It's going to help you. And so keep that in mind. But thank you for watching this video. If you have any other video ideas, as always, feel free to throw them in the comments below. And if you have any questions or if you want me to clarify some things as well, feel free to drop that in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. I want to get your feedback. Most of all, though, I want to help you guys. That's why I am making these videos. I want to help each and every one of you with any math or anything in school, any concepts, period, that you are having struggles with. If I can find a way to make it easier for you to understand, I want to do that. So drop it in the comments if you got anything else that you have questions on, anything you want to see a video on, or if you just want to say hi, I'm happy to see a hi in the comments as well. Whatever you want to say. But thank you for watching. I hope this helps you understand ordering numbers a little bit better. And hopefully we're going to see you in the next video. So thank you. Have a great rest of your evening, day, whenever you're watching this. And until next time, take care.